Hello everyone and welcome to another episode on Novel Idea. My name is Dahlia, I'm your host of course, and I'm here to talk about the books I read in February. So I'm going to start off with a bit of a reading update. First of all, what I'm currently reading is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is like everything you'd expect it to be. I'm enjoying it in the same way that I would probably not the same way I would a Bronte novel, but it's a time period piece. It's like the classic romance suspense novel, so I feel that I have to read it. So I'm happy that I'm finally getting to this, because if you watch my 2021 reading goals, this was one of the books that I flagged, one of the books I should get to this year. So I'm glad that I'm finally tackling like some of those books that I really want to get to. I'm excited because I recently purchased two books. Joan Didion's The Year of Magical Thinking. I've been like needing to get to Joan Didion. Picked up Gilead, which I've heard very good things, and I'm really excited to get to her as well. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading both of those books this month. So I'm excited. It's looking good. It's looking good. Like March, I feel like it's going to be a really good reading month. So I'm stoked about that. In Cold Blood, Truman Capote, it's obviously like one of the classics of all time. It was published, I believe, in 1966. Follows or chronicles the murders of the Clutter family in Kansas that took place in 1959. Classified as a nonfiction novel. Apparently, Truman Capote himself said it was nonfiction, which I believe was the stir of a lot of contentious debate. It takes on the perspectives of many different characters in the vicinity and in the, in the city in Kansas where it took place. It kind of delves into the minds of everyone that may have been involved or even peripherally involved. For example, like the victims themselves, we kind of hear their perspectives, not of the murder, but prior to the murder. We learn about other townspeople in this very small community. We learn how highly regarded the Clutter family was overall, and even like intimate details about their sort of familial life, like that the mother was maybe a little bit distressed or struggled with some mental health problems. In general, we got a really vivid picture of the family as a whole. Truman Capote himself had traveled to the city in Kansas and had done like very comprehensive research and became familiar and friends with people that live there, and he also apparently spent a lot of time with the perpetrators themselves. This, first of all, does not read like nonfiction, right? So it's a murder case that is looking at a real event, but it reads very much like a fiction novel, which I think is sort of the crux of what's problematic about In Cold Blood. How can he take these liberties and sort of access the inner minds of individuals that were there and were involved or in some way, shape, or form were impacted by the murders? It reads like a fiction novel based on true events. Besides that, the novel in and of itself is gripping, it's precise, it's so well written. It really does a fantastic job of investigating these murders, right? Capote does a good job, or at least he tries to really humanize the perpetrators, and he does so by, extrapolating on their individual histories and their life stories and what shaped their life trajectories such that they would end up in a position that they are in, and the reasons for which they might be disposed to behaving that in the ways that they did. We still don't have a clear sense of why they actually committed this crime. That part of their psyche is what word should we, defective. I think that part of their psyche is defective. They don't have the same range of emotions, I think, same ways that neurotypical individuals would. It's a really fascinating novel, and I would be very interested in reading more of Capote because he's such a precise writer. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a really well executed and well written novel that really in detail, went through the events. That's In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. And the other book I read in February is The Sellout by Paul Beatty. I honestly don't know how to review this book. First of all, I won the Booker Prize. From the reading experience, it wasn't for me necessarily. I just wasn't like, I never became fully immersed in the novel, and I never really fully connected to the character. I just didn't get there. Is that there's this character, an unnamed narrator, who ends up inheriting this farm from his father in a fictional town in California called Dickens that ends up being removed from the maps. And one of the townspeople, Hominy Jenkins, who was a child star in the Little Rascals movies or show. It seems like it's a show in the way that they depict it in the novel. He has this weird penchant for sort of old-time customs and living in enslaved America. So the narrator takes it upon himself to sort of placate this individual and provide him with this sense of servility that he's so longing for. I don't know. I felt like the novel was beyond me. Whether it's satire, whether it's something else, I don't know. I don't know that I specifically like gleaned any type of further enhancement of my understanding of race relations, other than to say that yes, race is still a prevalent issue, and to act like it's not is ridiculous. And I don't know if that was like the main sort of point of the book. I think what I'm saying is it just kind of went over my head. Like, I'm not sure that I really got what he was getting at. I don't understand it. Like, I don't think I understand what the purpose was for the plot. I don't know. I don't know that I understood the novel. There are some points where he's very lucid, depicting his views and thoughts about racism, and those parts I really grasped onto, and I really enjoyed those because he's a very articulate writer. His overall point, if I take it to be that we're not in a post-racial world, his argument for that is a very novel way of posing the argument, and it's certainly very unique, and it was, I think, very fresh. And so in those senses, I think it's an interesting take. Yeah, I don't know how to summarize this novel. I don't know how to talk about this novel. I just don't know. I just don't know what to say about this book, and so I'm hesitant to say anything at all. In any case, that is my wrap up for the month. Very short. I did not read very much at all. I hope you are all enjoying whatever it is that you're reading, so please let me know in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.